Coming up in the news, government urges local and foreign companies interested in doing business in the country to locate in rural areas.
"16-day activism campaign against gender-based violence to kickstart tomorrow."
And cleanup exercise to be held in place of Independence Day in Tanzania. Hello, very good evening to you. Many thanks for joining us here on GBC24 and also on GTV. This is News Hour. My name is Abdul Hayi Mumin and I'm here with...
I am Shirley and Robert Frimpong Manso is our signer for tonight.
The government says prospective local and foreign companies interested in doing business in Ghana must explore the possibility of locating in the rural areas.
The rationale being job creation and cheaper access to ingredients of production. President Mahama made the point when he inaugurated a local company designed to assemble electrical meters at Amrahia on the outskirts of the capital. Napoleon Atikito with this report.
The personality Fred Frimpong is making waves beyond his maiden identity, having treaded waters which only a few in Ghana have. He has set up a company called Intelligent Metering and Energy Solutions, IMES, specializing in the production of smart electrical meters. The articles have inbuilt features capable of thwarting any sabotage. Experts say it could be a novelty as it comes with the option to buy scratch cars to load the meters without referring to a ECG sales point. This feat makes Fred Frimpong a shining example for the youth. His company IMEX caught the president's attention, who then made his way to Amrahia, a quiet and relatively underdeveloped area on the fringes of Accra. Residents here do not usually get a presidential visit except to catch a glimpse of a convoy passing through the town. However, Fred Frimpong attracted the president like a magnet. On the back of his transformational agenda, President John Mahama is a chief advocate for Made in Ghana products, a cause he believes will to a greater extent help the nation save hard-earned foreign exchange for critically needed development. Increasing internally generated funds might cut down foreign-sourced funding that's helped the nation wean itself off aid and become self-sufficient. Early this year, the president said imports of electrical goods like meters, transformers and cables must be restricted. This shuts the door at competition, but then the order allows domestic producers to get a respectable portion of the local market and grow. In addition to IMES, Ghana has 4 of such companies, 3 of which were established under the tenure of President John Mahama.
I want to encourage the Chamber of Commerce and the AGI to work together to transform many more Ghanaian entrepreneurs into manufacturing. And the situation in the world is right, because with China's development over the years, it has gradually become a high-cost production center. And so a lot of businesses are looking to leave China and find new places where they can have lower costs of inputs, labor, water, electricity, and all those things. And so this is the opportunity for Ghanaian businesses to go and look at some of those light manufacturing and bring them here and do the production here in Ghana. Ethiopia is doing it already. And so we're in competition with them. We must also buckle our belts and do the same.
Mr. Fred Frimpong has the business acumen. His company has international partnership.
We have formed strategic partnership with Hermes Group in Egypt, a major player in electricity meters and metering solutions within Africa and around the world, to develop the technical expertise and build the capacity within Ghana. Our partners have a portfolio of high-precision, multifunctional energy calibration equipment that utilize the most advanced technology and components available in producing very accurate smart meters. And this is precisely what we'll be delivering to the Ghanaian market.
A burgeoning oil and gas sector requires marine cables, while a specification of the product is desirable for rural electrification. A key stakeholder in the Ghana brand is the Association of Ghana Industries AGI. The AGI says unemployment pressures will require an expanding industrial base to deal with the issue. On this score, Ghanaian entrepreneurs commend government for highlighting industry for support. Napoleon Atukito, Amrahia, near Accra.
And in other news, from tomorrow, the 25th of November to 10th of December 2015, a 16-day activism campaign against gender-based violence will run to raise awareness about violence inflicted on women and girls across the world. Ahead of the event, Women in Law and Development Africa, WILDAF Ghana, is partnering the media to sensitize the public on gender-based violence. This is understood as a violation of human rights and a form of discrimination against women.
In 2013, DOPS recorded 18,795 cases of gender-based violence. Based on these statistics, it is evident that women need more attention regarding gender-based violence. The 24th 16 days of activism gender-based violence is to raise awareness about gender-based violence as a human rights issue at the local, national, regional and international levels. This year's campaign is focused on the theme From Peace in the Home to Peace in the World, Make Education Safe for All. WILDAF is therefore urging the media to join the advocacy against gender-based violence by exploring and reporting on any form of discrimination against women and all acts of gender-based violence that results in or are likely to result in physical, sexual, psychological or economic harm or suffering to women, to save lives and also drum home the need for basic education among boys and girls. A representative of FIDA, Mrs. Susan Aite, spoke on the role of the media in ending gender-based violence.
Our film industry has not really been of help. African films that normalize violence against women and girls and television adverts that depict women and girls as sex objects sets back all the work being done to eliminate or reduce gender-based violence. The media has the potential to play a lead role in changing perceptions of gender-based violence that in turn can help galvanize a move for change.
All at the Accra meeting unanimously agreed that violence against boys and girls can and should be prevented.
Parliamentary sitting after the NDC's presidential and parliamentary primaries this past weekend. Though some sitting MPs lost their seats to return in 2017, they were in the House for business to continue.
Before the commencement of public business, the Speaker of Parliament, Mr. Edward Doe Ajaho, informed the House that President John Mahama will be attending the investiture of Guinea-Bissau's President, Mr. Jose Mario Vaz, after which he will be in Malabo, the capital of Equatorial Guinea, for the 23rd Ordinary Session of Heads of State and Government of the African Union. The Deputy Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, Mr. Emmanuel Kojo Ejekum, was on the floor to answer questions on the acquisition of a 15-acre land by the Kwapim South District Assembly in the Ebri Botanical Gardens for the construction of an assembly village. In his answer, he told members that his ministry is not aware that such a project is about to take off in the Ebri Gardens. His answer did not satisfy some members of the House.
Is the minister.
We do apologize sincerely for playing the wrong tape there. We'll bring that story later. However, moving on to other stories as we prepare to bring you the story from Parliament. The National Democratic Congress says it will select and endorse its presidential running mate for the 2016 elections before the end of the year. At a post-primaries news conference in Accra, its General Secretary, Mr. Johnson Esiedun Ketia, said The party will also launch its 2016 manifesto by the end of 2015.
A review of the November 21st presidential and parliamentary primaries held last Saturday, the NDC's General Secretary, Mr. Johnson Esiedu Nketia, commended all for a successful exercise. He described it as the most peaceful major political event in recent times.
The NDC was attracted to this direct democracy because of the following objectives and attributes. One, it gives equal say to all party members in the decision to select the party's candidates. Two, it has the potential of reducing to the barest minimum the influence of monetary and other material inducements and the incidence of imposition of candidates by leadership in the selection process. Three, it has the potential of narrowing the gap between the number of constituencies won by the presidential candidate and that won by our parliamentary candidates.
Regarding the missing names in the register, Mr. Esiedu Nketia said it was due to the challenges that come with any new process, especially those that are technology-driven. He outlined the party's plans between now and the end of the year.
We will move as expeditiously as possible to conduct the last batch of 6 parliamentary primaries. And 2, the selection of our running mate and the outdooring of all our candidates. The party will strongly advise His Excellency the President to trigger the process of making our running mate known so that we can prepare ourselves for the elections in 2016. And again, the final one would have to do with the launch of our 2016 manifesto.
He cautioned the winners to be humble and magnanimous in victory and urged those who lost their seats to join hands with the party and work hard for victory come 2016.
Now to our earlier story, is the first parliamentary sitting after the NDC's presidential and parliamentary primaries this past weekend, though some sitting MPs lost their seats to return in 2017. They were in the House for business to continue.
In the House and the numbers from both the majority and minority were no different from any other sitting, but many of the members from the majority side were dressed to signify their victory after Saturday 21st November primaries. The NDC's parliamentary primary saw many of the sitting MPs losing their seats. Some also voluntarily decided to step aside. The Deputy Majority Leader and MP for Ashaiman, Mr. Alfred Agbesi, lost his seat but was present, although he had almost lost his voice.
Item 5, on presentation of papers. Item 5.
Before the start of public business, the Tourism Minister, Mrs. Elizabeth Ofosu-Ejari, said her ministry has developed a 15-year National Tourism Development Plan to stimulate economic development. A Deputy Minister for Education, Mr. Alex Treme, was also in the House to answer questions relating to his ministry. He failed to say when abandoned projects in the Impohor Senior High School will be completed. He was also not specific when Nyafu Senior High School will receive a girls' dormitory, though the girls are currently housed in classrooms.
For 7 years, Mr. Speaker, this project has been abandoned. Yet, from the answer provided, the Minister is telling this House that every year provision is made in the Ministry's budget, including that of GET Fund, to cater for senior high schools and technical institutes. Have you been there yourself? Do you know what has gone and the contract variation that is involved on this project?
As a result of the non-performance of the contractor, that is where we are now. If you want to take contracts from contractors, we have to go through the processes before we are able to take contract from the contractors, and that is exactly what we are doing.
The Member of Parliament for Menchia North, Mr. Collins Owusu-Amankwa, in a statement called for punitive measures against people who litter indiscriminately in the face of UNICEF's recent ranking of Ghana as the 7th dirtiest country in the world and 2nd in Africa.
The sanitation law, which allows the state to prosecute offenders, has not been effectively enforced in the past years.
It's unacceptable that up to today we live in a country where in certain households people don't have toilets. The ministry, together with our metropolitan municipal district assemblies, as from next month, is going to roll out and invest, a package to assist households to have toilets in their home.
All students of Achimota School were also in the House to present a petition to the Speaker calling on the legislature to help protect Achimota school lands, which are being encroached on at an alarming rate. Sitting continues on Wednesday, 25th November.
In other news, the Prophets and Spiritual Churches Council Ghana has presented citations and relics to the National Media Commission. The council says this recognizes the National Media Commission's role as a peacemaker organization before, during and after the Supreme Court's verdict for the 2012 election petition.
The Churches Council is on what it calls an honoring tour. By this, they recognize and award deserving institutions and individuals who continue to champion the cause of peace in the country, especially as we turn the corner to another election year. The award consists of a plaque, the Holy Bible and the Quran. The chairman of the National Media Commission, Mr. Cabral Blay Amihia, was honored for his leadership and professionalism in the mass media. The leader of the Prophets and Spiritual Churches Council Ghana, Nakwa Prophet and San Jamson, commended the media and the commission.
It is a delight to see the depth of communication skills, knowledge, and innovative ways the commission exhibited during such crucial times in the history of the country, and this truly is worth applauding.
The chairman of the National Media Commission, Mr. Cabral Blay Amihia, was grateful for the award.
We did our bit of national service without seeking reward. What we have done today shows that when we work hard in the interest of society, the citizenry and the institutions watch you and recognize you, and at the appropriate time, they rise up to appreciate your work.
The theme for the tour is Blessed are the Peacemakers. The agenda is to give thanks to God for a peaceful aftermath of the 2012 polls and to pray for a peaceful election year come 2016.
A former artistic director of the Ghana Dance Ensemble at the University of Ghana and National Dance Company of Ghana, Francis Niyati, has died in India.
Sources say Niyati had traveled with the Ghana Dance Ensemble for a performance and a presentation when he fell ill. He was hospitalized for a brief period and suddenly passed away. At the time of his death, Professor Niyati was an associate professor at the School of Performing Arts at the University of Ghana, Legon, and had just finished her term as head of the department at the dance department at the School of Performing Arts, University of Ghana, Legon. He was 69. We'll bring you business after this break.
Good evening, it's time for business. My name is Esther Edu. Let's go to the central region where small and medium-scale enterprises in the country say getting access to credit is still very difficult, and this has become a major hurdle in their bid to expand their businesses. In interaction with GBC24 at the Aguna Swedro market in the central region, some businessmen called on financial institutions to extend support to SMEs.
Businesses in Ghana range from small to medium to large-scale enterprises. Some small businesses in Ghana can be found in markets dotted all over the country. These small-scale and medium enterprises, SMEs, according to experts, contribute to about 85% of employment in Ghana. This represents 70% of the country's GDP and 92% of companies registered in Ghana. Both government and international efforts have been made to develop local value-added companies. However, due to challenges in the wider business environment, few SMEs have been able to diversify, access finance and grow into sector leaders. In a typical small-scale market at Agonaswedro, one can find everything from shoes to suits. Mr. Francis Darko is a shoe seller in the central region at the Agonaswedro market, who has been in the shoe business for 10 years. In an interview with GBC24, he complained about the high taxes that have been imposed on goods.
The taxes on the goods are too high. We are appealing to the government to intervene.
Reduce no 320 no. And at least 250 crown as a yakofa and yes also the 260 crown to so.
The situation was not different for Mr. Ernest Asante, who sells trousers at the Agonaswedro market. He began his business about 4 years ago. He said businessmen in the region can only expand their businesses if access to credit is made simple to them.
The prices of goods this time have changed, and this has slowed down businesses, so it will be helpful to get a loan from the bank.
According to them, if credit is made available to them and they are given adequate infrastructure and good managerial skills among others, small and medium-scale enterprises will be able to play a significant role in the development of national economies.
Primary balance is estimated to record a surplus of 1.3% of GDP in 2016 and further get to 1.9% by 2017. This was disclosed by the Deputy Minister for Finance, Mr. Kaysil Atoforson, at the Institute of Financial and Economic Journalists, IFED's post-2016 budget review in Accra. Mr. Forson said this shows that the government's debt management policies are working effectively.
When the Finance Minister said Tekwe presented the 2016 budget statement, he spelled out detailed plans to tighten government's expenditure going into an election year. He said the government will sustain fiscal discipline despite 2016 being an election year while investing in infrastructure development. These were the issues on the table when the Institute of Financial and Economic Journalists met the Ministry of Finance on the 2016 post-budget review in Accra. The focus was on how the government will achieve the targets set out in the 2016 budget statement. Deputy Finance Minister Atoforson said the government is working hard to reduce budget deficit and bring inflation to a manageable level by the close of 2016. He said the government's debt management policies have started yielding the desired results.
The primary balance is estimated to record a surplus of 1.3% of GDP in 2010 and 1.9% in 2017 and 2.8% in 2018. These are our medium-term objectives. We believe that next year we will start seeing surpluses from the primary deficit. This will mean that we are not accumulating debt from next year. From next year 2016, surplus in terms of primary deficit of 1.3% of GDP. It means, maybe if I may put it in layman's terms, we will not be borrowing to pay our debt. And this is the very first time this is happening since 2006 after we exited from HIPIC.
A senior lecturer in the Department of Economics at the University of Ghana, Dr. Eric Osei Asibe, said the Bank of Ghana should reconsider its inflation targeting policy because it has not been able to control inflation in recent years.
Once those two things happen in an economy, so central bank throwing money into the economy and government also overspending, obviously a lot of money comes into people's hands and they go to the market to buy goods and services. So they begin to push prices up. Now, if the production side do not respond, also producing enough to meet the demand, then the prices begin to go up. One of the ramifications of that is that once people have more money, in Ghana, we tend to have higher propensity to import, or we tend to like imported product. Our expenditure on imported product will also go up. And when that happens, you begin to weaken your domestic currency. So that also triggered the depreciation of our currency. So from 2012, you realize that these key indicators, the inflation rate, the depreciation rate, started actually rising very high.
To Dr. Lord Mensah of the University of Ghana Business School, maintaining fiscal discipline is necessary for the government to achieve its targets in 2016.
If you look at our discipline in terms of implementation of our budget, it is an issue because we've not been staying disciplined as far as our budget allocation and implementations are concerned.
The Institute of Financial and Economic Journalists IFEJ 2016 Post-Budget Review Forum had the theme Consolidating Progress Towards a Brighter Medium Term.
The African Women's Development Fund has called on West African governments to enact policies which will support market women at both the national and regional levels. This follows a new report analyzing conditions of market women and the immense role they play in economic development on the continent. The call was made at the West Africa Market Women's Regional Research Validation Workshop underway in Accra.
The Sustainable Development Goal 8 mandates governments in developing countries to promote inclusive and sustainable economic growth, employment and decent work for all. Unfortunately, available data indicates that African women work under challenging conditions and are still a long way from being able to make full contribution to economic development. However, a field report on market women in 4 West African countries, namely Ghana, Nigeria, Liberia and Sierra Leone, titled Accelerating the Contributions of Market Women to National and Regional Development in West Africa, indicates that women play a pivotal role as development stakeholders and are actually the backbone of the economy on the continent, hence the need to empower them to effectively do so. It further indicates that opportunities should be given to better enhance policy interventions, build global alliances and mobilize resources to support and better harness contribution of market women at both national and regional levels. In a workshop to validate the research on experiences of West African market women, representatives of women's ministries and groups from the 4 African countries took turns to share their success stories and challenges on how far they have gone in a bid to empower market women as they contribute to the growth of their various economies. The acting director of the Department of Gender at the Ministry of Women, Children and Social Protection, Madame Lena Alai, said since 1976, Ghana has recognized the potentials of market women in the growth of the Ghanaian economy.
Ghana's women machinery has been contributing to empowering women economically. For instance, it set up women's world banking to provide non-institutional credit to improve access to credit for women. The government has also established the Microfinance and Small Loans Center, MASLOC.
The report was conducted by a research team commissioned by the African Women's Development Fund in cooperation with the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund and was funded by the Ford Foundation, West Africa. Theodora Medeto, GBC24, Accra.
Performance on the Interbank Market is up next.
Now, major commodities recorded gains on the international market during trading today. Let's have the details. This news was brought to you by EcoBank, Hisense and Airtel. Have a good evening.
In international news, Tanzania's newly elected President John Magufuli has cancelled Independence Day celebrations and has ordered a clean-up campaign instead. He was quoted as saying on television that it would be, quote, shameful, unquote, to spend huge sums of money on the celebrations when our people are dying of cholera. Cholera has killed about 60 people in Tanzania in the last 3 months. This will be the first time Tanzania has not held celebrations to mark 54 years of independence from the UK. Many people are caught by surprise by Mr. Magufuli's announcement but have welcomed the move. They feel it shows his commitment to ending lavish spending and tackling the cholera outbreak, which has caused widespread concern. Theophilus Sampa will update us on what's happening in the world of sports.
We there Mr. for him and me from coffee white. For coffee. That's it. Everybody lift up your glass. Don't papa jinsin bitters. Passion garlic bitters. Don't papa jinsin bitters. Yeah. Mama. Hey, mama for. Genie. Nene dey na di buy. Mama machines. Na me biyeso. Fuma mu nim say me kwa me di bi ba. Where you don't papa jinsin bitters. And where you passion garlic bitters.
Good evening. Let's update ourselves from happenings in the world of sports. I'm Theophilus Sampa. This is in partnership with Tobingo Pharmaceuticals Limited, producers of Lunat. Let's talk golf now, and the battle for supremacy in the annals of Ghana golf will reach its highest ebb at the 2015 Goldfields Professional Golf Association PGA built for the Daman Golf Course in the Western Region. Unlike the first event, which saw the winner take home 50,000 Ghana cedis, this year the winner takes away a cool 125,000 Ghana cedis and goodies from sponsors. This year's Goldfields PGA Championship will be played at the Daman Golf Course in the Western Region of Ghana from Wednesday 2nd to Saturday 5th December 2015. The PGA has invited 2 professionals each from Togo, Benin, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, Gabon, Sierra Leone and Nigeria. Aside the professionals, there will be an amateur tournament which will take place for 2 days starting Friday 4th to Saturday 5th December 2015. Launching the event in Accra, the Vice President of the PGA Ghana, Michael Champon, touched on the importance of the championship.
This championship is the biggest ever money prize in our golfing history in Ghana.
The tournament director, Mr. Amos Kobler, said they expect a Ghanaian to win the ultimate.
These guys that are coming are well known, good players, so we are ready for them. We'll make sure that we give them a good game. I can assure you that the trophy will retain in Ghana.
The Executive Vice President and Head of West Africa Goldfields, Alfred Baku, announced the prize money.
Last year, the total prize money was about 50,000 or so. This year is 125,000.
The president of the PGA Ghana, Bless Ivo, shared his expectation ahead of the championship.
I'm actually expecting very good participation from all the pros. And so far, we've got about 40 plus who are wanting to play.
The first edition of the competition was won by Vincent Toga with a score of 16 under par, which is a record expected to be smashed this year. Now, the president of the Ghana Rugby Football Union, Mr. Herbert Mensah, says they look forward to the upcoming Olympics. He says they are taking the world by storm.
The vision that we have that the next Olympics, not this one, the next Olympics, for sevens, we should be in a position to qualify because the West African has got speed, he has a low center of gravity, he has some athleticism that others don't have. You don't need the physicality of 2 meters, 120 kilos. There are different qualities that we can use if we can bring discipline, training, opportunity, nutrition, medication, everything that is part of the package of global rugby. And working with close friends, I think that we can work together to see ourselves on the world stage, not with 15s and not today, but tomorrow with sevens and other opportunities that may present themselves for the ladies, maybe for the juniors and some of the bigger guys.